Proper social support is critical for effective stress management, and most people understand the importance and the benefit of having a healthy, strong support network. And notice that I use the word healthy. You can have a big social network, be that in person, in real live interaction with people, or sometimes people will count virtual connections as part of their social support as well. But it's not about the size or the number of people that you have. It's not the size of that network. It's about the health and quality of that network. So let's talk about the importance of having a healthy, strong support network, social support network, and stress management. There is plenty of research indicating that having other people in our life who are supportive in our lives and who have a positive influence on us can be tremendous for many, many reasons, from stress management to things such as health and general happiness and well-being. So it's no surprise that having a strong, healthy support network can be one of the most important things in terms of effective stress management. And again, this isn't about numbers or the size of the support network as much as it is about the quality of it. We want a healthy, stable support system in order for it to be most effective and most beneficial for us. It doesn't make any difference whether or not you have 1,000 friends on social media. If you can't truly connect with them and rely on them to be there for you and support you in a real way, then that number means absolutely nothing. And realistically speaking, I don't know if any one human being could potentially manage 1,000 or 500 relationships effectively and have those relationships be genuine and real. We can know 1,000 people, especially with social media giving us that advantage, but we don't really know them. We don't really have true relationships with them. So this is about true relationships, a real support network, social network, with people with whom you can connect, people who you can see on a regular basis, talk to on a regular basis. Another thing to consider, now that we have cleared up the idea that we have to have a real support network, not a virtual one that is potentially endless in its numbers, it's important that we don't get caught up in venting. Now, everybody needs to vent sometimes. That's normal. And it's okay. It's important to be able to let things out when you're stressed out, when you're emotional. Venting is normal and it's okay, but you cannot allow it to get away from you. Sometimes people get caught up in it, and when they get together with that particular friend or a group of friends, all they do is complain. And there's a big difference between venting and moving on and getting caught up in that loop of endless complaining, creating more and more misery, whether it's around that one particular thing or just in general, one thing after the next. So make sure that you don't get caught up with that, whether you're the one who's always doing the complaining or it's the other person or someone in your group that is always complaining and never lets it go. That is not what we're talking about. That's not part of effective stress management. Having a healthy social support network means that you can vent when you need to vent, but then you let it go. You don't get stuck in ruminating over things. You don't get stuck in endless complaining. That is non-productive, so we don't want to do that. And remember that your support network doesn't just limit you to friends. These could be family members just as well. So whoever you want in that support network, as long as it's a healthy, supportive relationship, that's what matters. It doesn't have to be just friends or just family or just people your own age or with a similar background. The more variety you have in your support network, the better. So ideally, it should be some friends, some family, some people who are like you, and some people who aren't necessarily like you. Remember, a support network should be able to support you in many ways. And the more variety that you have in that support network, the more potential ways of support you will encounter from these people. So don't limit yourself just to family or just to friends or just to people who are very much like you. Be open about it. But as I already mentioned earlier, this is about quality, not quantity. So don't worry about having a huge number of people in your support network when it makes more sense to look for the quality in that support network. Remember, a healthy support network is what we're aiming for. Another thing to consider is that just as important as it is for you to be able to have a network of people who support you, you should also be able to reciprocate by supporting them in kind. And both are equally beneficial to you. Studies show that receiving support or receiving love or receiving care can be a wonderful thing, but just as good is for us to give to others. So when we're talking about being part of a support network, it's just as important for you to contribute and to support and help the other people in your network as it is for them to support you. And if you're someone who's not a social butterfly and you don't naturally have many people in your life, a small group is just fine. Again, as long as it's a healthy, supportive relationship. Maybe it's a group of 2 or 3 other people. Maybe it's just you and another person. That is real for many people. They choose to keep their network of friends or acquaintances very small, and that's okay too. But don't forget to tap into your family, because the people in your family are a good option to have as part of your support network. So the bottom line is that you're better off having a strong, healthy support network when it comes to effective stress management than it would be for you to attempt to tackle everything on your own. So make sure that you have a healthy, strong support network. Nurture that network and make sure that you remember to examine that support network on a regular basis. Sometimes friendships and relationships change and they don't become, or they become less healthy or maybe even toxic or negative. Sometimes it's important to prune some of the individuals out of your network. So make sure that you keep at it in terms of taking care of your network. It's a little bit like gardening. You have to put into it to get a beautiful garden. You have to do the work. You have to do the maintenance. And if there are weeds in that garden, you have to get rid of them. So remember, take care of your network. Even if you have a good support network today, doesn't mean that you can get lax with keeping up with maintaining it. You have to contribute to it, and so does everybody else in that group. A good, healthy, strong support network big or small, can be very beneficial to your ability to manage stress effectively. If you'd like to learn more about effective stress management, check out the link below.